Welcome back to New Rockstars. The multiverse has blown wide open in the MCU, making it a Marvel Cinematic Multiverse, I'm going to start calling it, thanks to the Loki finale. But if you look closely, as we have, at all those little branch timelines that are splitting off from each other, are we seeing into the future of Spider-Man No Way Home, Multiverse of Madness, even Thor Love and Thunder, Quantumania, Avengers 5? Have they just given us a full roadmap of how this impacted everything we know and love from the future of Marvel? Let's talk about it! Even if it's a bit premature, I don't care, because this is Rogue Theory. I'm back, motherfucker. Hey. This is a show where we pitch the wildest theories for the nerdy titles that we love. I'm Erik Voss. Going rogue with me today, we have writer, comedian, and fantastic friend of the show, Jessica Clemons.
Hi, back by popular demand.
Yes. And back by popular supply, America's favorite uncle, timeline brancher, Tommy Bechtold.
Yes, I'm old. I'm older than I look, and I'm tired. Back by legal obligation, and thank you guys for keeping me out of prison.
Just make sure we remember to sign your paperwork after we're done taping, because otherwise it won't count.
I appreciate that.
We also got with us, of course, fellow New Rockstars host, MT.
Hey, Kang Gang! What's going on, everybody?
Hey, gang! We just gotta shout that at the top of every video, because how often are we gonna be right on this, you know?
Right.
we got the Kang Gang, we got the Big Head Gang, everybody's out and about today.
Right? The Kang Hang Big Head Gang Alliance.
That's
right.
I'm not in a gang.
Okay.
I'm wearing a jean jacket and I'm not in a gang yet.
How dare you, Jess?
You can
Get
be
on
in my
it.
How
gang.
dare I? How
Can
dare
you
I?
be in the Denim Divas?
Ooh,
Start
Jess.
your
The
Be in the
Denim
big
Diva.
face team. Whoever has a big face can also join.
Hey!
Jessica,
Big
you
face gang.
can be in my gang. It's called the Boothang Gang, and it's just me and you.
Aww.
You
That's
guys
pretty good.
see? I'm gonna do that.
Fan Gang.
None of you guys are dating Tommy.
That's right.
Well, let's dive into this. The Sacred Timeline's eruption into a multiverse in the Loki finale seems to have direct implications on titles like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness and Ant-Man the Wasp Quantumania, but what about all the other titles we know about coming down the MCU pipeline? We're going to go through them all, one by one. Like, could Thor Love and Thunder be set in a timeline that we're in, or in an alternate timeline? Could She-Hulk be in a live-action What If? Is Avengers 5 guaranteed to be a multiverse collision event like Secret Wars? How are the Fantastic Four going to fit in all this? So here's what I want us to do. I'm going to mention a title, streaming series, movies, whatever these things could be in a couple years, and I want us to sort them into 1 to 3 categories. 1, is it going to be in the main MCU timeline where, like, the Infinity Saga has taken place? B, are we going to see it taking place in an alternate timeline that has something parallel but just off about it? One of those other branches. Or C, is it going to be an interdimensional story that's set across multiple timelines the way Loki has?
Okay.
You guys down for this?
Oh yeah.
I'm down for it. This is interesting. Let's go. Let's do it.
Okay. We'll start with What If. What If seems to be the third category, right? Interdimensional. But do we think any of these stories could be set in our prime MCU timeline?
I don't know if any of the main stories will be set in our main timeline, but like we do get a shot in the What If trailer of a Scarlet Witch, which makes me think, I'm like, is that our Scarlet Witch, like the same Scarlet Witch from the Sacred Timeline? So like, I'm wondering if there are characters that will be introduced into that third category, interdimensional story. But I don't think that there's going to be any core story in What If or any like episode of What If that will take place in our timeline primarily. I think it's all just going to be, and it's going to be mainly, the whole season is going to be an interdimensional story set across multiple timelines, because we do see those multiversal Avengers.
Well, and that's the fun of the comic What Ifs, are that they're hypotheticals that don't ruin your main narrative timeline. They're like,
Exactly.
I remember reading like, what if Uncle Ben had lived as a kid, or what if I forget there was one that was like, what if Wolverine was in the Fantastic Four? And they're just kind of like a creative muscle flexes, I think, for the writers. So I have a feeling that series is going to be more of a fun hypothetical than an actual lean in and get more main MCU timeline information. I don't know though. I mean, I've been wrong once or twice on this show, so you can't always trust what I'm saying.
Well, we try to. I mean, Jess, do you think that Uatu the Watcher could have been primary MCU? Because they animated him in a way, but like because he's such a weird form,
Jesus
like
Christ.
could that have been implied to have been in the same world as the Guardians of the Galaxy, or Thor?
That'd be sick as hell. I mean, I hope so. How much do you think is gonna be canon because of the What If series? I don't think it is. I think it's just for fun. Is that just me? Is that wrong?
No, that's what I think.
No,
too.
it's not wrong.
Oh, okay. I was like, am I wrong for thinking that?
Assumption. I just think the rules of it are going to be canon.
Yeah.
You think?
Like the idea of, I don't think the exact scenarios will all be canon, but I think this idea of alternate realities will be canon.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
I am of a differing opinion here because I think that this is going to hardcore tie into the more multiversal elements that are coming up into the MCU. I never really considered that, but yeah, Jeffrey Wright's Watcher could actually be the Watcher that we see in the MCU going forward, because in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, the Watchers were highly, CGI characters. Like, you're not going to get like a real man to be a Watcher. Right. So you can easily have Jeffrey Wright be any looking Watcher that he needs to be in the MCU.
Right. And we'll move through these a bit quicker because we got a lot of titles we want to get through. But let's talk Eternals quickly. So Eternals, still a big question mark for me. What do you guys think? How do you think Eternals could tie in with what happened in Loki, or will it?
I mean, like, there are definitely some elements in Loki that Eternals could tie into. Definitely the whole Kang aspect of everything, the Rama-Tut specifically, the Rama-Tut incarnation of Kang. We do see that Sphinx in the in the Void in episode 5 of Loki, and in the comics, a Sphinx is a time machine that Kang uses, and that I brought this up in Inside Marvel before. But yeah, so I feel like there could be a connection there with the Eternals because they are this long-lived people, and the story is going to be taking place over thousands of years, as Marvel Studios has revealed.
I think Eternals will be a main MCU timeline, but I which we talked about in Big Question, I'm more confused and just trying to figure out, because the Eternals are the Eternals, but we're also talking about the Celestials coming to Earth. So what are the Celestials going to be doing with Kang, and how did Kang interrupt the Celestials? And so that's where I think it could cross into a different timeline, because who's bigger than God? The Celestials are like, not
the
to be like,
man. No, just kidding.
Okay, so you're
LeBron?
right. The thing,
Yeah. Giannis.
LeBron James. Yeah, I think that it's going to be in the main timeline. I don't think they're going to really address the whole Kang situation or Loki situation. I also want to know, maybe like Loki is happening way after the Eternals movie, but it could talk about it just because we're trying to figure out who's stronger, Kang or the Eternals or the Celestials.
My answer is not as fun, I think, but I think Eternals is going to kind of suffer from the same. I mean, I liked Black Widow, but I think it's going to have the same thing where a lot of, I think, what is happening in Loki. Obviously, I think Marvel has their plans that are years and years, ahead of time, but I have a feeling Eternals is going to be kind of feel like, oh, this movie was supposed to come out a year ago, and it's going to be good. It'll be very entertaining, but I don't think it's going to. I think anything to tie into what happened in Loki is being done now, or has been done over the last couple of months. Like whether it's a post-credit scene or it's an additional reshoot. I have a feeling the narrative of that story will be a main MCU. I think it's mostly going to be we're going to get the first 30 minutes are going to be kind of the explanation of why they didn't interfere with the Battle of New York or Thanos invading, and why that happened and why that was allowed. We've discussed that on a bunch of other Rogue Theories and Big Questions, but I honestly, Eternals is one of those movies that I have no idea. I mean, anything could happen in that movie, and I would be like, okay, that's fine. There's so much, they've invested so much in the cast of that movie. There's so much star power in that movie that it's like, I feel like it's got to be setting up for more. Like they have to be, some of those characters have to be going into other movies, are being set to appear in other things, I think.
Eternals could end where Loki begins, only because that way the Celestials are working with so much in the universe that what Kang is doing is probably so minuscule to them that they're like, yo, this guy's keeping order in the world. Why are we going to get so mad about it? And so that could be the timeline of it. I feel like they have to address it if it was before. So that's why I'm like, there has to be a reason they're not going to address it.
Yeah, maybe within the family tree of the Eternals, we meet Lars' father, Kronos, and then Kronos has some kind of opinion on what Kang is doing or what the TVA is doing. There could be some kind of crossover there.
Or like the Eternals could, since they're long-lived, we could see Eternals in the year 3000, where
Sure.
Kang started. So like maybe we could see that. In Eternals.
That is true. That is true. That's true.
All right, let's move on to the one that you guys, I think everyone is most curious about, Spider-Man No Way Home, right? That's the big title. Just a trailer. Or, I mean, at this point, movie theaters are putting up fake posters, and people are tweeting me, like, is this real? It's like, no, just spend 15 seconds to fucking Google it and you'll see that it's not real. But anyway.
My boy.
But this movie is going to be a very big deal, and we're all waiting to see how much of a multiverse story is going to be. Right now, based off of what we know, do you guys think it's going to be set main MCU, alternate timeline, or across timelines?
Across timelines, baby.
Across
the universe.
God, I hope so.
I think it's the main timeline, and too many things are coming into the main timeline. I think there's a breach in the number one timeline. So it is kind of agreeing. It's a cross, but I think it is just like, oh, we got to fix the Earth that we're living in right now, not Spider-Man going into the other ones. But
so you think Spider-Man from other timelines are coming in to fix the main timeline?
I think we're honestly, which is fight me. I think we're kind of mirroring into the Spider-Verse. I think that now, I think they're like, we can do this. And I think it's like, they're all coming into this one. But instead of the Spider-Mans, I think it's more of the villains. And I think that's why we're getting the villains coming back. I think they're just disrupting the timeline. They're jumping in and they're like, we can all cause chaos at once. And I don't think we're getting like the Sinister, whatever, 6, but I think we're like, we could just all mess this up. We can all just mess this up, and it's Spider-Man having to like clean it all up.
As long as we get Norman Osborn as Dark Avenger Iron Patriot to prove one of my worst rogue theories, I'll be happy. If that comes full circle and I can go back on this show and celebrate, crown myself the king of theories, then I'll be fine. Other than that, anything else can happen.
We also are forgetting this is a rogue theory, so I should be going a little more crazy
go
with
rogue.
my theories.
Let's go
Sorry,
extra
boss.
crazy.
No, that's fine.
I think that Spider-Man No Way Home is definitely going to be an interdimensional story, but like because it's John Watts, I would love it for it to be an interdimensional like road trip vibe with like we're on the run. It's like me and my friends and we're going to different universes and like just to keep up with the theme of like that this 80s sort of like trilogy that we're getting with John Watts.
Tell you how good of an idea that is, and that is what I think. Thor: Love and Thunder is going to be. But we can get into it later.
Oh my God.
But that's what I think Thor: Love and Thunder is going to be.
But let's remember one thing, though. If this is a multiversal, multi-timeline, I'll use the correct terminology. What is Peter Parker's first question going to be once he finds out that there are more Spider-Men? Is Tony Stark alive is his like hero, mentor, father figure? Is there versions of him alive in other timelines? And can he reach out to him? Is there a chance we get like a shocking Robert Downey Jr. cameo in this movie, like through something? I see your face, Eric. You make that face at me if you want, but I'm going rogue, baby. I'm saying Peter Parker.
He's going rogue for you.
Peter Parker's going to. I mean, he's going to want to know, like, okay, the existence of you guys, I guess because they don't look like him, then he'd be like, well, it won't look like, I don't know, I've just talked myself out of it with that, but I'm wondering if, like, once he finds out there are other Peter Parkers, is he going to seek out a way to, like, reconnect with Tony Stark? Because he's still a kid. That's more of a thing a kid would do, right? Like, an adult would be like, no, my Tony Stark is dead. But, like, a 19-year-old, or however old he's supposed to be in the movie, 18 or 19, would maybe still try and do that impulsively. So, I don't know. I'm saying, like, that could be a way that plays in.
That would be pretty crazy. Like, I love that theory. I think that'd be really fun. But I do think that while that may not happen, I do think that we're going to get a Robert Downey Jr. variant of some kind. And I hope that it's Norman Osborn, because that would be a mind f***ing
You and the Norman Osborn
it would be so
Iron
crazy.
Man. You are so like, great. It's going to be Robert Downey Jr.
I want it. I just want it to.
Yeah, I think only Multiverse of Madness could have that Norman Osborn thing. I don't think any non-Sony partnered Marvel thing would be able to pull that off.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Multiverse of Madness is a place, or what did I say? I meant No Way Home, not Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, you said Multiverse of Madness.
But that's why I think you guys could be onto something with Osborn showing up in No Way Home. But I'm going to skip the streaming titles for now. Let's go right to Multiverse of Madness. I obviously think, and it's in the title that this is going to be across different universes. Yeah. But is there anything specific that you feel like you learned from the finale of Loki that gave you ideas for Multiverse of Madness?
I mean, the new evil TVA, or Kang-controlled TVA, implies to me that the multiverse may, now that it exists, it may be more chaotic, but still under evil control. Maybe Kang uses the TVA not to create one circular loop, as he was saying, of one main time. Maybe now he has multiple timelines that he can oppress and have do his bidding. Because, as the Kang that we met in Loki said, I'm by far not the worst. There are many worse versions of me. So we don't know the version running the TVA may be one of the worst versions. We have to assume probably is. So maybe maybe he's using the other timelines to his advantage, and that's Doctor Strange's job, is to kind of liberate all of the multiverses, all of the timelines.
At the end of Loki, and he dies, Kang dies, and everything happens bad, whatever. I think he gave his so he made it and orchestrated a world where Wanda becomes Scarlet Witch because she needs to work with Doctor Strange in order to kill all of the other Kangs. I think Doctor Strange himself couldn't do it alone, but also would be like, I don't really see the reason of us doing this, but he needs a Scarlet Witch. He needs more than one person that can go beyond the timelines and destroy himself. So I think he's just getting the world ready for his disaster that is himself. So I think that's what we're going to get with Doctor Strange, is him and Wanda teaming up to fight all the other Kangs. Or at least they're getting prepared for that, because who's going to really win over a fight with Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch? That's you would get your ass kicked.
I like this idea a lot. I'm just not sure if they're going to already bring Jonathan Majors back for Multiverse of Madness. I think he might get referenced in the story. I just think that a Doctor Strange villain, they might just go in a different direction, whether it's, just making Wanda a kind of, maybe not having a big bad, and Wanda just starts as a villain, but they end up working together. Or Mordo is the villain, or Shuma Gorath could be the villain, or Nightmare. I just feel like Sam Raimi, he'll want to play with Kang, but they're going to have to pick up a different toy from the toy chest for Doctor Strange.
I trust that. Do we trust that there's going to be more villains coming in that are going to be as tangential to the entire MCU as Kang, though? I think Kang is the villain. And I think, when we see Gore, it's going to be done with Love and Thunder. And when we see anyone else, it's going to be done in their movies. But do we think, so if, anyone came in Multiverse of Madness, that would be their one and done, right?
Maybe, unless it's someone like Doctor Doom, right? Doom is someone who they're going to want for multiple titles. But I think Kang is going to be someone, I don't think he's going to be thwarted even in his big Kang movie. He's just going to keep coming back as long as Marvel still wants to keep playing with him.
If they brought Doctor Doom in, that'd be great. But how could they bring I guess they could bring Doctor Doom and Kang in.
Doom.
Yes, but then that's what I want Doom to have his own intro versus Kang being this is Kang's umbrella and then Doom's underneath it. It's no, put Doom above that.
The version of that in my head that works, Jess, would be Multiverse of Madness ends with a Pandora's box opening, and in addition to Kang being amongst them, you see Doom. You see Galactus somewhere in there. You see Mephisto in there.
Don't even say don't even say the name. Don't even say the name. Don't even say the name.
We're not supposed to say that.
Don't even say the damn name.
No, but
But I would love that with Secret Wars, MT said. But MT goes.
But no, just to add on to that, you got to remember what the Ancient One said in Doctor Strange 1 with, he's hey, if you knew everything about the multiverse, you would run out of here in terror. So there are bigger threats other than Kang outside of the multiverse, because again, we have Dormammu, we have like Eric said, Shuma Gorath. There's more multiversal entities that could play a factor in the future. So we could get Beyonders. I don't know. That could be we could do the Builders. I don't know. There's a lot of big bad potential there.
Energy.
Well, Jess, you had mentioned Love and Thunder. It's I'm so excited for this movie. What's your theory for how Love and Thunder is going to connect all this?
Okay. So it's rogue theory, so I'm gonna go a little rogue.
Do it.
I'm gonna go a little rogue.
Gotta.
So I love the idea in theory that that Thor is just coasting the galaxy with the Guardians of the Galaxy. I would love that more than anything, but I think what realistically is happening is that we're gonna follow the timeline that Jane Foster does have cancer, because that's one of my favorite. Well, it's in all of the comics, but it's such a good justification, such a good everything for her holding the hammer and being able to purge her chemo or get rid of her cancer for the time being. So I think that's how she's gonna get the hammer. I think she's gonna be traveling the galaxy trying to defeat Gore the God Butcher. And I think we're following the unworthy Thor comic issues, because I love the idea of coming from where we are to Thor now. Thor is definitely still not feeling himself. I still think he still has doubt in himself, so he can't hold the hammer anymore. He's just like, I can't do anything. Someone else is gonna have to take the title, and that's where we get Jane, and that's how we're gonna have them going through Gar the God Butcher. I just realized now out loud, I'm just saying my theory for what the movie is. Is it gonna be in the Multiverse of Madness? Is it gonna have the multiverse involved? I don't think so. I think this is... Well, actually, no. I would love for this timeline to be just about Jane, and this is just an alternate timeline, but I don't think we're trying to stray too far off. So I think this is going to be following Falcon and the Winter Soldier in the main MCU timeline, because it's both taken in New York.
Okay. I like that idea. Sorry, MT Tommy, I'm not going to let you weigh on this because I want to talk about Wakanda Forever.
Sure.
Is there a possibility that they could use the multiverse to do a bit of resetting in the MCU when it comes to losing Chadwick, right? Like, maybe, like, his absence could be justified because this is taking place in that what-if timeline where T'Challa became Star-Lord, and now this is just taking place in another timeline. Yeah. Ultimately, I hope in the future they end up using the multiverse to recast a lot of different characters, like have a new Iron Man, everybody, and then among those could be a new T'Challa.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to bring a new T'Challa.
Not in this movie. I don't think they'll do it in this movie, but it'd be good, I think, in the future.
Oh, yeah. I think that a variant T'Challa is inevitable because, like, the story of Black Panther just got started in Black... We only got Black Panther 1, and, like, they definitely want to make a Black Panther, 2. I mean, obviously, Wakanda Forever is the Black Panther 2, spiritual sequel, but I think they want a proper Black Panther 2. And bringing in a variant is the perfect way to do that without, removing T'Challa's, Chadwick's legacy as T'Challa. You're just like, all right, it's a different variant, different guy, but same character but from a different universe.
So much good T'Challa's story left to tell.
There is.
For sure. And so, like, we could see some variants in Wakanda Forever in that sense because, we are kicking variants off with Loki, and Wakanda Forever is, coming out, somewhat soon. And so that I could see them, unveiling after Wakanda Forever celebrates, Chadwick's life and his contributions to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, just being like, all right, this is that, but like we got to move on because Wakanda is forever, and so T'Challa is also forever, and so here is, not a replacement for Chadwick, but like here's the continuation of T'Challa's story. So yeah, I think variants could definitely factor in Wakanda Forever.
Oh, that'd be great. They just casted Michaela Cole.
Yeah, that's exciting, right?
What
do we think for that, right? Storm, maybe?
We all want Storm, but we're not going to get Storm, but we all want Storm.
I
want her.
I have been campaigning hardcore for a female Dr. Voodoo hardcore.
Oh.
And I think that getting a really great, African-American actress or hopefully a Haitian actress.
So looking ahead to other titles, I think we can assume Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania and Guardians Volume 3, that these will be set either in our timeline, Quantumania in another timeline, or across timelines. But let's look ahead to like the big titles that we're working towards, the big crossover events, Fantastic Four, whatever the 5th Avengers movie, might be Secret Wars. What do you think Loki has told us about what that next huge crossover event will be?
Fantastic Four, there's definitely going to be some inter-timeline or alternate timeline stuff. Because we don't know where those motherfuckers are at. And like they could just be living in a completely alternate timeline and just doing their own thing. Maybe that timeline has mutants. Who knows? Mm-hmm. So like, definitely some alternate timeline stuff. Or at the very least, or maybe just interdimensional stuff. Because that family gets up to a lot of stuff. But a Secret Wars scenario... I think is highly likely. I think we're highly on this path, and that would be an dimensional type of story. Though it wouldn't be like traveling through timelines. It would sort of just be like all the timelines coming together into one battle world.
Just wondering, by Avengers 5, will we have mutants? Like that's the big question we're all kind of wondering. Is like which one of these titles is going to finally establish the X-Men, or at least the possibility of the X-Men? Is it, like, when are we getting that? Is it sooner than later? Is it going to be in the next 4 that come up? Is it going to be through a TV series, through a Disney Plus series? Because I could see the 5th Avengers movie being like a X-Men and Avengers, like trying to figure out how they coexist against a big bad. Like, okay, we're the super team from our world. we are the super team from our world. This is a foe that we both have as a common enemy, but first we have to figure out how to coexist. I could see that happening, but a lot would have to happen in titles that are not called X-Men for that to be a thing. You know, we'd have to be meeting individual X-Men in each of these, you know, forthcoming series. So the Secret War seems to be like where it's converging, where like, you know, the story narratively seems to be going, but I could see them swerving and doing, you know, something just completely original, or at least not original, but like MCU original, and staying away from Secret Wars.
I still think they're following WandaVision more than they're following Loki if the Fantastic Four were to come in. But I do like the idea of them coming in just in the middle of Secret Wars. Because what if they did just show up and the people are just like, who are you? And they're like, we're the superheroes. And it's like, no, we're the superheroes. But I think they need a bigger introduction. And that's why I stick with the WandaVision theory of just like, when they are talking about like people get lost in space, I want those people lost in space to be the Fantastic Four. And somehow they hit some anomaly in space that is due to Wanda. Or it could be due to Loki breaking up in all these like branches. But them coming out of a timeline, just a random timeline, I want them to have more... this is our world versus like they're coming in through a different world. I want them to like, this is their Earth.
Also, it would be a very Kevin Feige FU if he successfully made a movie called X-Men versus Avengers to shine the DC for failing at Batman versus Superman. Like if he was like, we're gonna make a good movie called the X-Men versus the Avengers, even though we all know the result will be the same, that they team up in the end. That would be a very Marvel flex.
Oh no, like that's very likely though, because with Secret Wars, again, with the incursions, like the Avengers could fight the Fox X-Men. Right. Technically, there's good reason for an Avengers versus X-Men scenario. Right. But
in Secret Wars, they won't even fight the villains; they're just fighting each other. They do at first. Yeah. They do at first, and then the villains are just being stupid. Yep. But that'd be fun.
A lot of great ideas brought up in this conversation, guys. I loved hearing all these takes for the upcoming films of the MCU. The golden Rogie point's going to go to Jess for her Thor Love and Thunder theory. That's the version of Thor Love and Thunder I'd love to see. Yes. But we have some more questions we have about Loki we're going to talk about in a bit. But first, we have some people we want to shout out. This is the last week to grab yourself some of the Loki-inspired merch over at NewRockstarsMerch.com. Several sizes and styles have already sold out, and more of them will be disappearing soon, like they all got sent to the void at the same time. So grab yourself a latest Obsession shirt, or a Loki Gator sticker, or a Mobius on a Jet Ski shirt, and show your support for New Rockstars at NewRockstarsMerch.com. We want to thank some people who helped us make this episode, of course, and starting with our friends at Movement. In a tiny apartment in Southern California, two college dropouts teamed up to create a watch company that broke all the rules. With fair prices, unexpected colors, and clean, original designs, Movement grew into one of the fastest growing watch brands, shipping to over 160 countries across the globe. Now, Movement has expanded into blue light glasses that protect your eyes from screens, expanded to minimalist jewelry, more style essentials that don't break the bank, all designed out of their California headquarters. On July 20th, Movement is celebrating their 8-year anniversary by running a huge site-wide sale. Everything is 28% off. That's 28% off all their best-selling watches, glasses, jewelry, and more. I recently got the Ocean Plastic Edition watch from Movement. It looks really cool. It's super functional, and its case, strap, and buckle are made entirely from reclaimed ocean plastic pollution. Movement is going all out for their 8th birthday. This is their biggest sale of the year. Take advantage of these price points before they go. Don't miss Movement's biggest sale of the year. Go to mbmt.com/rogue and enjoy your 28% off. That's 28% off site-wide at mbmt.com/rogue. Join the movement. We also want to thank Decked for sponsoring this episode. One of the joys of truck ownership, of course, is being able to haul a lot of stuff. What's not so great is keeping that stuff organized and out of the elements. You got your tools rattling around under the seat, or your full Beanie Baby collection just roasting in the sun in the truck bed. That's why you got to go to the Decked drawer system for your truck. Decked makes organizing, accessing, protecting, and securing everything you need so much easier. Each of Decked's 2 full bed-length drawers can carry up to 200 pounds of whatever you got. The drawers roll out waist-high, giving you easy access to your stuff. The drawers are weatherproof, protecting your stuff from all the elements. The creative design also keeps your stuff secure. The Decked drawer system is 100% made in the USA and backed by a 3-year no-hassle warranty with a great customer service team ready to answer all your questions. Get your Decked drawer system and quit letting those Beanie Babies bake by going to decked.com/rogue, where you'll get free shipping. That's decked.com/rogue for free shipping on your deck drawer system. Decked.com/rogue. We also want to thank Mint for sponsoring this episode. After years of fine print contracts and getting ripped off by big wireless providers, if we've learned anything, it's that there's always a catch. So when I first heard that Mint Mobile offers premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month, I thought, well, what's the catch here? Well, the trick is that there isn't a catch. Mint Mobile's secret sauce is that they are the first company to sell wireless service online only. By cutting out those retail stores, folks, Mint just passes on those sweet seat savings just directly to you. Here at New Rockstars, Philip switched to Mint. He loves it. He saves a bunch of money, and he got to keep his phone and his contacts. So for people looking for some extra savings, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. All plans come with unlimited talk and text, high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. If you're not 100% satisfied, Mint Mobile has you covered with their 7-day money-back guarantee. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and to get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/rogue theory. That's mintmobile.com/rogue theory. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/rogue theory. All right, guys, what the is Miss Minutes?
Ooh.
We still don't have an answer.
MT's wife?
Oh, yes,
MT's
that's
mistress?
the main answer. That's
I
my
didn't
wife.
ask who, I said what.
Eric, it's mine and your personal friend Tara Strong that we interviewed on Rick
That's
Explained. But also, I think Miss Minutes is Kang. I think it's just essence of Kang. It's like he peeled a little bit off of himself, and it's just a proxy. Everything she sees and says is him. Is his mind. Is he sees. It's not like she relays things to him. He like omnisciently sees through her eyes, communicates through her. I think she's just Kang. I think she's just.
So he's using some kind of conjuring magic to make her appear.
Yeah, she's like a proxy to him, but is him. She's Kang. He just thinks like that version of Kang seems a little more whimsical. Seems very whimsical, and I think like he seems like kind of a theatrical goofball. I think that's just he's like, this is cute. Time. This is a face. This is a clock face. This is Miss Minutes.
Okay, so he needed a cuter proxy than just an employee of the TVA, something to balance out the timekeepers.
Yeah, something to not scare the variants when they're being educated on what the TVA is right before they get pruned. Like
interesting theory.
Like your killers come with smiles. You know that old theory.
Jess, what are you thinking?
Carnage does. I think that it's a variant of Renslayer. Oh. I think it'd be so fun to be from a different timeline of Renslayer, because we all know that, like in the comics, that they had a relationship. So it's like, what if this is a Renslayer that loves him and is always gonna be there for him and always takes up for him, because she didn't even lie or she did lie kind of to the other Renslayer, and she's just like, I only work for He Who Remains. That's my man. So I was like, what if this is a variant of a Renslayer that is, because we already saw that there's a variant freaking alligator Loki. Why can't there be a variant time digital clock woman that is Renslayer? Sure. So I think and they're loyal. They're a confidant, just like the Renslayer that we saw as the principal and as just the Renslayer in the show.
I like that idea a lot.
I think Tom is on the money there with Miss Minutes being, an extension of Kang. But I think that, remember Kang's little wrist thingy that he used, like his little temp pad? It was a circle. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that just like Miss Minutes. It's a circle like Miss Minutes. So maybe like whenever like he's talking through, Miss Minutes, it's just like, all right, here's my will, or like here's me speaking through Miss Minutes. And because it's a circle, it's like, all right, this is the circle version of me. And like in as we've learned,
the circle version.
As we've learned, Jonathan Majors provided the voices for all of the timekeepers in episode 4, I believe, of Loki. And so, like, I'm not saying that Jonathan Majors has a really good Tara Strong Miss Minutes impression, because that would be insane if he could summon that.
That would be amazing. Wow. Hey,
y'all. But maybe He Who Remains does. Maybe He Who Remains has a killer freaking Miss Minutes impression, and he's doing the voices. Like, that'd be hilarious.
So he's going around,
he's
missed out firing all of these characters. He just takes a yellow pie and goes, hello!
Yo, like straight up Norbit, like straight up freaking Nutty Professor. Like,
what if the two theories that we have are actually the correct answer at the intersection? What if Miss Minutes is a Kang variant, but like the most, like she's like the most docile, like pleasant, like, nice Southern Belle Kang variant, and that's why he's allowed her to live, because she's not a threat to him, but instead
she's the most submissive Kang Dom.
She's just like she has the power to be anywhere, go anywhere, communicate, and so what if she's just a weakened Kang variant?
I like the idea that, Kang he remains as alone in that Citadel castle that, maybe it used to be a much brighter place. And then this old woman showed up at the door during a rainstorm and he cursed the old woman and turned the old woman away. But she warned him not to be deceived by appearances, for beauty is found from within.
This sounds like Beauty and the Beast.
This sounds like a whole original story.
And one of his clocks came to life, and she's like, "Howdy, y'all!"
As it can be.
And he's got a rose,
and he
up
dances
in the corner,
alone in the light.
Even friends, then somebody bends.
Extratemporally.
Beautiful.
Well,
Beautiful.
I give myself all the rogies.
He gave himself the points.
Jess, you get the point because I think your Renslayer variant theory is actually really great.
Amazing.
And I think that's a really cool
good
idea. I hope that's the case.
You deserve that.
So our friends at Blue Chew have a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in a chewable form and at a fraction of the cost. Thanks to Blue Chew for sponsoring this episode. Blue Chew is an online prescription service, so no doctor's office or pharmacy trips. It ships right to your door in a discreet package. You sign up at BlueChew.com. You consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you receive your prescription within days. Their licensed medical providers work with you to find the right ingredient and strength. And if you hate swallowing pills, good news, Blue Chew is chewable just like it says in the name. So if you could benefit from some extra confidence when it's time to perform, visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. We got a special deal for our audience. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code ROGUE at checkout. Just pay the $5 in shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code ROGUE to receive your first month free. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this podcast episode. All right, we have time for one rogue question, guys. HBO's upcoming TV adaptation of the popular video game series The Last of Us could be one of the most expensive shows in history, with individual episodes reportedly crossing the 8-figure mark. What video game would you like to see adapted for television for even more money?
Hubert!
Yes.
Hubert! Just kidding, no, not Hubert.
Hubert?
No, that's his vote, and it's a horrible vote. I'll tell you that
This
much.
is simple. From the company that brought you the dragons in Game of Thrones comes Yoshi's Island. A cinematic masterpiece coming in at a whopping $20 million per episode. You have Blue Yoshi, Red Yoshi, Yellow Yoshi, Green Yoshi, all coming together to eat eggs and apples and solve puzzles.
No, I think the movie that I would choose, honestly, and it's a tie between these two franchises, but either Pajama Sam or Backyard Baseball,
Ooh.
I think would
Yes.
make
Backyard Baseball.
phenomenal.
Keisha.
Like all of
Yes.
Humongous Entertainment,
Yes.
like all of their library,
Oh my God.
any of those would make phenomenal TV
Yes.
series.
And I know damn well this has already been done, but I want to do it in the way that we did it back in the day. I want to do the Oregon Trail, but I want it to look exactly like the Oregon Trail video game. And I want them to put a lot of money into it, and I want to die of dysentery at least twice. So I want it. You know what? We're going old school. Once you said Backyard Baseball, I had a heart attack.
Well, MT, I'm going to give you the point for Backyard Baseball. Yet,
Hooray.
Jessica, you are reigning supreme of this episode of Rogue Theory.
I got no points.
You got 0 points.
Oh no!
I'm back
Love
to
you,
old
Tommy.
school
Tommy, if you
Rogue
would've pulled
Theory.
out that Blue
Right,
Chew,
just
we
give
would've
one
given
point at a
all.
time. That's it for this episode of Rogue Theory. I want to thank our wonderful guests, Jessica Clemons, Tommy Bechtold, and MT. Follow all three of them on their social media. Support their many endeavors. You can support this channel by checking out all of our merch at newrockstarsmerch.com. Follow me at EA Voss. Follow New Rockstars, of course, and subscribe here on YouTube. We'll see you next week, kiddos.